and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I am your host, Rebecca Felgate, and today we are getting pretty unholy and a little morbid as we talk the top 10 scary churches where prayers won't help you. They won't. You're not going to be helped. Let me know which of these you would least like to spend the night in the comments section down below, and don't forget to stick around to the end where I'll be replying to comments. Leave a thumbs up and check out the links to our social medias in the description box. Alright, coming in at number 10 we have St. Mary the Virgin Church in Clophill in the United Kingdom. She may lay in ruins, but the chances are that this dilapidated building will ruin you. Sitting quiet in the sleepy old English village of Clophill, there is said to be a force of evil here. Blimey. Laying abandoned and in ruins is the Church of St. Mary the Virgin, built in 1350. Interestingly, the church's altar faces south, towards hell, rather than the traditional east, which is where churches usually face to point to heaven. Basically, a whole bunch of Christians believe that the south-facing altar was constructed on purpose, and that the church was secretly a satanic meeting spot. The church has a very long history of reported hauntings, and people believe that the satanic rituals still take place here. The graveyard was desecrated in the 1970s, so now all of the gravestones sit facing the perimeter wall, which kind of makes it even creepier. Coming into number 9 we have St. Paul's in New York. St. Paul's Chapel is often named the Little Chapel That Stood, and when you see pictures of it you'll totally understand why. Built in 1766, the chapel now sits among skyscrapers at the base of the World Trade Center. It's the final resting place of Alexander Hamilton, the place that George Washington prayed on his inauguration day. It survived the Great Fire of New York and the 9/11 attacks, becoming a safe haven and spot of refuge for those who work to save people from the wreckage and put out the fires. All in all, it actually kinda sounds like a good place, so why is it so scary? I'll cut to the chase. There's a headless ghost here. A ghost without a head. Double the spooks. Actor George Frederick Cook was said to have donated his skull to the theatre to be used as the iconic piece in Hamlet. Good on him. He was buried sans head at the St. Paul Cemetery and is now said to wander the grounds looking for his, head. St. Paul isn't the worst of them for sure. I actually kind of think it's a bit quirky and I like the sound of a headless ghost. Coming into number 8 we have the Chernobyl Church. Has anyone watched Chernobyl on Netflix? Yeah, I haven't, but I keep meaning to. I hear it's really good. Let me know if you have in the comment section. Anyway, on the 28th of April 1986, a nuclear reactor exploded at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near Pripyat. Since that day there has been a 10-kilometer exclusion zone that won't be safe to enter for a very long time. Nuclear cleanup is still too dangerous and is set for the year 2065, which is 80 years on from the disaster. Right now there are a whole load of abandoned places sitting there poisoned and spooky. Some people have even broken into the exclusion zone to see them, although very much at their own risk. One adventurer came across this old, sad and abandoned church in Krasny village in the exclusion zone. Yikes! Abandoned and radioactive. Do you want to have a look inside? Of course you do! Honestly, so spooky. Spookier still, coming into number 7 we have Egg Hill Church in Pennsylvania. Egg Hill kinda sounds like a cute, sweet place, doesn't it? But actually, it really isn't. The now abandoned Egg Hill Church is rumored to be one of the more haunted buildings in the world, filled with unholy spirits. According to legend, a pastor arrived on the job in 1927, and shortly after he delivered his sermon, he decided to kill his entire flock as they took Holy Communion. Then, he killed himself by hanging himself. I can't confirm this with research, it's likely just an urban legend, but nonetheless, a lot of people think that the building is extremely haunted and very hateful. Coming into number 6 we have St. Michan's Church in Dublin. Ireland. A country of so much rich history. Rich history can also be translated to a lot of dead people over the years too. It's kind of the case with this church. It was built in 1095 on the site of an old Norse chapel. It has a history of dead people extending back 1,000 years, which is bound to give a place a certain vibe. The church was rebuilt in 1686 and a large pipe organ was installed. Apparently Handel is said to have first played his Messiah. Despite the change in building structure, the crypt remains the same. Now the crypt is made of limestone, which is perfect for preserving mummies. Amongst the bodies in the crypt are an 800-year-old crusader, a 400-year-old nun, two brothers who took part in a rebellion against the British, a thief identified by their missing hands. Fact for you, up until July 2017, visitors were actually allowed to touch the mummies. Oddly, while the crypt is really good for preserving human remains, it seems that the wooden coffins that they're buried in just keep bursting open and exposing bodies. Ugh. Sadly, in February 2019, the crypt was broken into and bodies were assaulted. The head of the crusader was stolen and the nun's body was chopped and decapitated. Another body was turned over in its grave. So who would disrespect the dead like this? We don't know, but luckily the crusader's head was eventually found and returned to the body, but I'm thinking there are some angry mummies in that crypt. Coming into number 5, we have the Borgsund Staver Church in Norway. I would love to go to Norway, but to me, this is just looking creepy from the off. Creepy, but I have to say a little bit cool. It kind of looks less like a church and more so like a witch's mansion, or maybe the Weasley's burrow. I guess that is kind of a witch's and wizard's home, even if they're good ones, but still, it's creepy just to look at. The church is slap bang in the middle of a medieval cemetery, and it is made from wood, but has somehow stood for 1,000 years, which to me is even more weird. There are strange engravings of animals and mystical creatures inside, and ancient runes to boot. Here be witches? Dragons? The imagination runs wild. Do you like unexplained wailing sounds? If so, you will love this at number 4. We have the Church of St. Andrew on Staten Island. This church dates back to the early 1700s and is located in Richmond, Staten Island. The church was used as a hospital during the American Revolution, and it seems to have left a deep scar on the building. These days, it is said that the spirits of the dead soldiers haunt the halls, wailing, walking, knocking, creeping, just generally being creepy little ghosts. Candles flicker without wind, and some claim to have seen them float. There's a chill in the air here, even on a hot, heavy summer's day. Coming into number 3, we have OradoursurGlane Church in France. This is one of the saddest and scariest church stories of all time. War was an abysmal period of time for Europe, and between the two feuds, decades were lost to bloodshed. While the majority of the countries eventually recovered, deep scars were left in the land. A number of places that existed before simply didn't survive, including OradoursurGlane. On the 10th of June 1944, German SS soldiers destroyed the French village, killing 642 of its inhabitants, with just 20 people managing to escape. The black shirts rounded up the men and shot them at point-blank range in a barn, but the church was a true horror. Women and children were rounded up into the village church, locked inside, and then burned alive as German soldiers set fire to the holy building. Hundreds of innocent people lost their lives in these walls. Honestly, I feel really bad for the people that had to go and find them there. French president of the time, Charles de Gaulle, ordered that the town remained untouched as a memorial to those who lost their lives in the savage attack. People can still visit the area and see the village left ransacked as it was that night. They can also see what remains of the church, if they dare. Coming into number 2, we have the Sadlakassi in Czech Republic. It isn't the outside of this church that is the issue. Have a little look. See, no scarier than any other church, right? Well, my friends, step inside. This church is filled with the remains of 40 to 70,000 people, which, yikes. Not even that, like out of sight, out of mind. If they were buried somewhere or like in the walls, that would be fine. But this chapel is decorated with the bones and skulls of the dead. There are pillars made out of bones, a chandelier of bones, a coat of arms made from actual arms, and then I'm sorry, but why is there a skull on this cherub's knee? I'm honestly kind of petrified. Why are their skulls holding bones in their mouths? This is macabre and I don't like it. It seems that the church dates back to 1278, but in the early 16th century, bones were exhumed by a blind monk. A lot of the bones are thought to belong to plague victims. Ugh. So, how do you top a church made of bones? Ho ho ho! Get ready for number 1. We've got the Satanic Temple, a place that I don't want to be. Prayers to God will not help you in the Satanic Church, but you could pray to Lucifer, not that I would advise it. At the Satanic Church, unholy pastor Victor Damien Rosso, who by the way claims that he is the son of the devil, suggests that people make a pact with Lucifer himself, his dad. Why? Well, so they can become rich and then the devil will own their soul. Classic. The Church of Lucifer is located in Colombia and actually does look pretty churchy. It seems that Rosso was raised Catholic but denounced God and turned to the devil. Do you want to look inside? I feel like you do. Check out this clip from a Vice documentary.
Una construcción grande con cruces invertidas. El templo visto desde afuera se ve solitario, cerrado y totalmente privado. Y para ser una iglesia no da mucho la bienvenida.
Víctor o Héctor?
I have to say, like, all joking aside, it does have some pretty sweet decor. Leather chairs, black curtains, big black and red satanic pentacles, backlit upside down crosses, and an altar to the Dark Lord himself. Can we just talk about how Lucifer's throwing the classic rock hand here, like Satan loves heavy metal? What a cliche! Locals have complained about the amount of animals ritually sacrificed by the group. Want to have a look at what a satanic ritual at the church looks like? Here you go.
Hay unos seguidores de él tiene una túnica roja, los otros una túnica negra y están a punto a mí de vestirme e investirme en la religión luciferina. Entonces ya veremos qué pasa después de esta noche.
I do enjoy a good candle, but honestly, this is all a bit intense for me, and culty. I really don't enjoy a cult, I just need to be free. Well, that was the top 10 scary churches where praying won't help you. So don't try. Which of these would you least like to spend a night in? Let me know in the comment section down below. For me, I think it has to be the Death Church in the ransacked town in France, because whilst the Satanic Church is scary, if anywhere's haunted, I'm imagining it's this abandoned village. Plus, the horror. Before I go, I'm going to read some comments from the top 10 secret pictures from Area 51, part 2. This is what you had to say. Zach Turner said, I am very vividly aware of seeing a UFO when I was younger. My cousin and I both saw it and could describe the same ship. It was square with lights in a circle pattern underneath, but we ran from it and went inside as fast as we could. To this day, I wish I stayed outside and found out what that ship really was. P.S. The UFO was right above the house. There was no mistaking it for something else. We know what we saw, we just don't know what was inside. Oh my god, that is terrifying. TJ Parker wrote, Curiouser and Curiouser. I love it. I agree. I think that we've all been brainwashed by the powers that be to believe that aliens only exist in film and literature. However, based on eyewitness accounts and stories involving space snakes and giant space angels, I believe there are likely multiple species of aliens with different physical characteristics and origin planets. I enjoyed this video. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I enjoyed your comment. I love a good, in-depth comment like that, and I have to say, with the comment pairing, you're right, a lot of people do claim to have seen ships in the sky. Is it an apparition? Is there an explanation for it? Or was it aliens? Let me know what you think. Okay guys, it's time to wrap up this video. I'm feeling a little bit scared. I just want to sit down in a safe space and burn like a non-culty candle and relax. So I'm going to do that. But you guys should keep watching our playlist and of course leave a thumbs up on this video. If you haven't yet subscribed, then do it now. You can be part of our family of almost 6 million most amazing fans. Hurrah! I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you guys soon. Bye!